just picking up where we left off. Now we are going to go into adding user integration into our application. So we'll keep going forward with our tweets, but basically what we want to do now is we want each tweet to say which user it was created by. Now, if we want to add users into our application, we're going to need to install a new Meteor package into our app. So this will require us going into the terminal. So we haven't touched the terminal in a couple of videos. So down here in the bottom of my WebStorm window, we can see our terminal. Which, as you can tell, it's just running our current Meteor app. So we want our Meteor app to stay running. So let's just keep this terminal window open, and we can actually add a new terminal window by clicking on the plus button. From here, I want to install our Meteor accounts package. So to do that, 1 second. You guys can see my Spotify friends. So the packages we need to install are going to be Meteor add accounts-ui and accounts-password. So what this did is we're installing two packages. There's the accounts password package, and then there's the user interface for having the login buttons on our app. You can build your own UI for your accounts if you would like to, but for fast prototyping, it's much easier to use the built-in accounts package. And so now I'll just go ahead and hit enter, and it will install those. Cool, they are now installed. So coming back up to our application, the first thing we want to do is we want to show a message to the user about whether or not they are logged in. So to do that, let's just say we'll put a above our button, we'll put in H3 and we'll say you is logged in. So that maybe that seemed a little confusing. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to say you are logged in if they're logged in. We're going to say you are not logged in if they aren't logged in. So is logged in will be a helper function that will return the string are or are not. Let's go ahead and create this helper function beneath our collection. So I'm just adding a comma here because that's how you separate multiple items inside of an object, which is effectively what we're doing. So we'll say is logged in. This is a function. And now if we want to check if our user is currently logged in, it's very simple. We'll just say if meteor.user, and this meteor.user call right here, this returns the current user object. It will return null if they are not logged in. Otherwise, it will be the object. So we'll just say if the current user is null, we'll return the string are not. Otherwise, we'll return the string are. Now if we load our app, it says you are not logged in because they are not currently logged in. Excellent. It's because the user is null. So let's go ahead and give them the ability to log in. Thankfully, because of that accounts UI package we added, it's with a simple yield, we can add login buttons into our app. So to do that, all we say is login buttons. Keep in mind that camel casing is important here, so that's a lowercase login and a capital B for buttons. We'll save that. And now our app, oh, there's a little sign-in drop-down right here where they can put in their email and password. Excellent. So now I'm going to click on the create account, and I'll say, put in my email, and here's my password, create the account. And now, hey, notice that it immediately updated to you are logged in. Why did that happen? Well, that happened because Meteor.user, just like session and collection, is also a reactive data source. So basically what happened was some event happened. Basically, we clicked on something. We clicked, create account. And we didn't have to create it, but behind the scenes, there's an event function that's logging in that user and adding a new item into our users collection. When that new user was added into our users collection, that automatically made every helper function that was observing users, such as isLoggedIn, which was looking at Meteor.user, rerun. And so when isLoggedIn reran, Meteor.user was no longer null. And so then we would return a different string, and our HTML updated to say you are logged in. So now, if we want to add a certain owner to each of our tweet items, and we'll come down here. So currently, we are just deleting tweets based off the last video. So I kind of want to go back a little bit, and let's change it to where we're inserting tweets again. So just to go through that syntax, so we'll construct a new tweet object. Say the text will say, this tweet belongs to, and then we'll do meteor.user, and then the field that we want to access off the user object is their username, which I'm not sure if we set. So we'll just say this tweet belongs to meteor.user.username. Then we just want to add that, insert it into our tweets collection. Put a semicolon there. All right, let's see how that works. And so now it says this tweet belongs to undefined. That's exactly what I was nervous about. So basically what is happening is each user account can have a username set on it, but the way we currently did login is effectively we didn't ask them to set a username. So it's undefined right now. So they've never set a username on their account. Instead, though, we could look at the underscore ID that each user has. So the underscore ID, just like how this tweet is going to have an underscore ID, is just the unique identifier for that object saved on that collection. So now if we change our code to that and run, we will see this tweet belongs to, and this is the ID for me as the current user. The more likely use of this piece of code right here is not that you'll put it in a string saying this tweet belongs to whoever. It's that you'll add another field saying, maybe call it owner, and then owner will be equal to the ID of the current owner. And then you can look up that user object based off this owner field in the future for the tweet. So I know that's a lot. It's a little odd to think about, oh, we've got a collection of users going on that all have their own IDs, as well as a collection of tweets. But this should be enough to get you started. And we also covered how to check if a user is currently logged in. So coming back up here to this function, you can just say if meteor.user is null, you could say, they are not logged in. And if it's not null, it means that they are logged in. And meteor.user is a reactive data source. So if you use it inside of a helper function, whenever they log in or out, this function would get recalled.